What's up, guys? I wanted to make this video to share with you some of the things that I feel are the most important lessons I've learned in my fitness journey. So I've been exercising and doing some kind of weight training or calisthenic movements since I was very young, probably like 12 years old. And there were gaps and periods of times where I wasn't able to train for whatever reason, but I was pretty much consistent otherwise, always doing something. And I had different goals at different times. I understood things differently at different times than I do now. What I mean by that is, in the beginning, I was under the impression and mindset that you had to start by building a very solid and thick foundation, and the way to do that is by lifting heavy weights. So basically, I fell into somewhere between a powerlifting mindset and bodybuilding aspirations as far as building the physique. And I feel like I wasted a lot of time in those early years, especially because I really didn't have any sense of direction as far as what really worked. And the reason I didn't have that direction is because, like most of all of you, I just listened to what was the commonly accepted knowledge of the time, rather than do what I do now and what I encourage you all to do, which is experiment for yourself. Experiment on your own physique and body. Understand from an early stage that your body is completely unique to everyone else's. And what I mean by that is the way your body will respond to nutrition, the way your body will respond to weight training, the way your body may build muscle through calisthenics and high repetition alone. There's so many variables at play, and to think that one method of training or diet should be applied to the majority just because that's the commonly accepted or scientifically researched results is garbage. It's not the right way to go about it. Believe me when I tell you, you can save yourself a lot of time and effort if you just grasp that one thought process and understand and implement it from an early stage. So it was important that I learned that the numbers did not matter. All right? That I'm not here to try to lift the most weight that I can. That is not my intention. That is not my goal. Again, going back to those early years, I was very strong. If your goal is to get strong, then lift heavier weights incrementally, and that'll do it. You'll accomplish your desired goal. I became very strong, but I didn't look like I was as strong as I actually was. And so it was kind of defeating the purpose. Yeah, it felt good that I could outlift a lot of people that were way bigger than me, but it served no purpose because my whole intention from the beginning was to sculpt and build a physique that I appreciated, that I liked. And that wasn't happening with those very heavy poundages. So I learned that activation of the muscle is far, far more important than amount of weight lifted. What I mean by that is using bench press as an example. I was able to get under a bench, psych myself up, and lift big, big numbers, right? So I was repping 405, just to give you an example, with no problem. And yet, my chest was probably the most underdeveloped body part of my entire physique. How could that be? The reason that could be is because when I got under the bar to lift, I wasn't even thinking about muscle activation. All I was concerned with was get under this weight and lift it. That was it. As far as I was concerned at that time, I was a success in that effort if I was able to lift, execute, and re-rack the weight, however many times I desired. But the point is that that was not effective in building the muscle and sculpting it. So it goes back to intention. What is it that you want to accomplish? Do you want to be a power lifter, or do you want to be what I refer to as a physique sculptor? Because that's what I like to think of myself as. The physique as a statue that you can sculpt gradually. And part of the process of sculpting is to learn what methods work, what methods don't, including diet, including workout frequency, and training methods. So understand what it is that you want to accomplish first, and it'll help you get there that much quicker. Another thing that I learned that was of extreme importance is how much of a factor diet comes into play. Diet is really something that shouldn't be considered or thought of as a temporary thing to attain a temporary result, but rather should be thought of as a constant. You adhere to a constant type diet, and you can deviate from that in treating yourself and allowing yourself, meals here and there or days off from that constant. But it should be all the time. Doesn't make any sense to me for me to plan to go on a 3-month diet or a 6-month diet where I'm going to cut up and go as ripped as I can and then just come off. I have done things like that before for experimental reasons where I wanted to understand how nutrition and other factors displayed themselves in my body. But again, I now understand that I have to eat the same way, which is clean, most of the time. That's what my diet is. Eating clean for the majority of the time. And what I mean by clean is, again, it's a relative term because your body may respond differently to carbohydrates, for example, or to protein intake, or to calories than mine does. So for me, through trial and error, I've learned how to find a nice balance and can adjust accordingly to what I want to accomplish. And so I've learned how to bulk, I've learned how to cut up, and I've learned how to stay somewhere in the middle. And again, I hope you guys take some of this and really give it some thought and try to implement it. Because if you can implement these two basic principles from an early stage, you'll be way ahead of the game. Because most people just waste years fucking around and not really knowing what they're doing, just running around in circles. So understand your goal, understand that there's a difference between powerlifting and having the intent of lifting the most weight versus body or physique sculpting, and implement clean nutrition from an early start. In addition to that, the last thing, and one of the most important I mentioned previous, is experiment for yourself. Understand that those commonly accepted routines are not the only way. There are many, many means to the end in this case. Many, many. And so just give that a lot of thought. Don't be concerned with ego. Don't be concerned with what other people are going to think about you or be critical of. Do your own thing and find your own path and learn how to implement all these things as a constant in your life so you could enjoy the process that much more. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks.